Welcome, everybody. And today we're going to be talking and discussing culinary arts with Chef Orelle Young. And I'll let him introduce himself and then we'll get started.
All right, cool. The shortest way I can go about this is my name is out there. I'm Chef Orelle Young. Um, I've been in the hospitality industry for a solid 12 years now. I've worked in New York City, London, and Dubai. There are many similarities between all of the regions and restaurants. There's also many differences, and I'm pretty sure throughout this conversation that we embark on, I might isolate some of those.
Okay, so like I was saying, let's go and get into it right now. Oh yeah, before we get into that, I know you had said that I see like in like your Instagram say you're a pit master, and like somewhere I read it's also said that. So for those who may not know what a pit master is, could you explain that briefly, or however long you need to? Oh, are you there? All right. Well, guess we'll wait until he gets gets his audio back. I guess. But yeah, the whole conversation was gonna be about the culinary arts, but I'll wait until he comes back because I think where he's at, it's kind of hard for him to get on StreamYards, but I will see if this works. All right, you back? All right, can you hear me? Okay, I think his something's wrong with. I think maybe his connection. Just getting started. StreamYard already playing with us. Yeah, so I guess I'll wait a bit, and I guess when nobody besides me or the chef comes in, I'm just probably just gonna edit this out. Yeah, because he has to use VPN to get on StreamYard because I'm assuming he's somewhere where a lot of websites are restricted, including StreamYard. So he has to use a VPN. So just waiting on him get it all sorted out. Okay, I'm still here. Okay. All right. Say something now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, there you go. You're back. Okay, cool.
All right.
All right, I
I
was
just learned
asked.
I can't operate multiple apps at the same time.
Yeah, Yeah, I found out too. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you stream your yeah you on your phone. You have to use it all on StreamYard. That's why like
Yeah,
I cut out all other apps like before even getting on here, and I have to use the desktop site to do it. But it works. I mean, overheats my battery, but it works.
yeah.
But 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 yeah, yeah. For you, got cut out. I was asking, like I've heard that you're a pit master, and people may not know what that is. They might have seen the term before, but don't not necessarily know what it is. Could you explain what a pit master is to those who don't know?
Sure. To be completely honest with you, at times I almost don't know what it is. It's a
Wow.
very large culture. It's a
Okay.
very large culture, and it spreads far and wide. And I'm one of those people that's been on a mission to kind of bring it, to every corner of the world. But by definition, um, at least what I was brought up in, it's someone who crafts smoked meats, and that starts from butchering to seasoning to cooking. Um, Even goes right down to plating at a competitive level. There are definitely a lot of people who haven't competed, who have the title of pitmaster. Then at the same time, there are people who are grinding every month, entering a competition somewhere in the world to produce the best barbecue they can.
And is that what you did to get that title?
I think I did it at more of a industrial level. Like my skill set, I kind of honed in on it growing up. My dad's from Memphis, my mom's from Florida, so barbecue's always been a big part of my life. But I think when I committed to, crafting barbecue for large hospitality groups, I think that's what got me my title, as opposed to going the competitive route. I mean, I'm a big fan of the competitive route. I've been to competitions. I've helped people on different teams, but I've never put myself, my name, my face at the forefront of any of that. I just wanted to go there, have a good time, and I guess over the years, as I kept doing that, I picked up on a lot of things, and I brought it into my kitchen.
Okay, so there's many, so there's different routes to being a pit master.
Yeah.
Okay,
But then,
so
I mean,
so is
you go on YouTube, you'll find thousands of pitmaster channels, from the dad on the weekends
yeah,
barbecuing burgers,
yeah,
vlogging about it. I can give them at least that level of commitment that they put towards putting themselves out there and barbecuing. I can
yeah,
respectfully give them that title as well. I guess it's semantics, like
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So there's any other aspects of cooking that you have mastered or very skilled in besides the pit master section?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess the whole barbecue. I guess the role barbecue plays in my life. It's the most enjoyable side of it, but I mean, to be where I am today, I had to, really learn a lot of other different forms of cuisine, and yeah, different genres of food, and just be able to produce something that every palate can enjoy. And that's more so culturally speaking. And my experience in London was it was bittersweet. I mean, it's good. London was good for me. I got to work with a lot of chefs from all over the world, so that definitely took my culinary game up a notch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cause like where I work at, I know like the chefs, there, like most of the styles that like chefs learn are like European or French styles. So
Yeah,
ain't
that's
that
the
basic?
core of the culinary arts,
Yeah,
the French cuisine.
yeah,
Or at
yeah.
the
Cause
very least, you learn all your sauces.
oh yeah, yeah. And I'm sure you
Yeah,
probably learned like probably more than most people did just by like studying or whatever. But I
yeah. I
mean,
learned I learned the hard way in New York and in London, from a lot of old
yeah,
school chefs. They were no nonsense. They were like, "Do as I say. Do it this way. You know, if you have to do it twice, you're not worthy of being in my kitchen." Really, really hardcore like that. Um, but I'm a better cook for it. So I
Yeah,
can't knock on their style. It's just not my style of
right.
instructing. You know, the people that I manage.
Yeah, like with me, like I'm learning learning the pastry side of cooking, and like I found out I found like different styles, like like the style like I'm really interested in is happens to be like the American style, which is considered like the pastries are very sweet, and I found out like that a lot of the European and French pastries aren't really that sweet.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
I'll go ahead.
yeah. Traditionally, they're not super sweet.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's something that follows the meal. It's something that you know wraps everything up for you to bring
yeah. I
together
mean,
your entire dining experience. So I don't know. For some people, it might be more in pastry. It might be more of the aesthetic of what you're bringing to the table rather than the flavor. I mean, you can't. It's hard to compare a cake to a custard um, because you're just bringing you know two different tastes, two different textures.
right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, sometimes I wish I went the pastry route. I have friends in New York right now. They work like I don't know 5 or 6 times a year, and that's all
Mm,
they have to do because they're established, they're set up, and they just do 5 really big events a year, and that's all they need to do to survive.
wow.
I mean, but not everyone's that lucky, but
Yeah,
I don't know. I definitely see the fun and how would you call it? The ability to really work for yourself. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna be
yeah.
right back.
All right. Yeah. Hope who is watching is enjoying the conversation, and once the brother gets back, we will continue.
I'm back. You hear me?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking
Yeah.
of pastry, I just had my pastry chef call me. This
Wow.
guy,
Yeah.
we have a big event on Thursday, and he's freaking out that I ordered um, so many ingredients. But I'm one of those people. I'd rather be a week ahead of an event than
Right.
right up on it. But yeah,
Yeah.
how are you enjoying um, pastry?
I've I've had love for like culinary arts since I say probably since I was maybe 22 or 23, and ironically it wasn't even by like a chef or anything like that. It was just like I remember I was working at a concession stand. They had like this pizza. You almost had to almost build it from scratch, but except they had like the pre-made crust, but you had to put
Right.
the sauce and the cheese on it and do it yourself. And I remember like after I had made it, I was looking at it like, oh man, this is a work of art right here.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is like my Mona Lisa right here. And then from then and there, I just kind of like it's like cooking was never the same for me again. So I was like, fell in love with it, and then on top of that, like once I started learning how to bake, because I had to teach myself how to how to bake. I was like, I really loved it. I mean, like love sweets, so and then I get to make them from scratch, and they taste better homemade. So I was like, at some point, it became no brainer. Like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. I love all aspects of culinary arts, but I particularly love baking, and I was kind of lucky to run into a job where I can actually learn it. I mean, even though I didn't learn it at a culinary school, but the thing about it is I'm learning from one of the best paid chefs in my city, and on top of that, I'm getting experience upon learning as well. So
Right.
kind of once I learn what I need to know, I'll probably be right up step ahead of people coming out of culinary school with it.
But that's exactly where it is. That's what I was
Yeah,
saying. It's like I I mean, if I look back, like I said, 12, 13 years ago, my the core of my experience didn't come from culinary school because I actually went
mm.
to film school. And
Wow,
oddly enough, I ended up working in restaurants because when I got out of film school, I couldn't necessarily afford to be someone's intern for a year or two. You're not really making any money. So I started
right,
working in restaurants. And, that's what held my head up above water, as a young 20 something in New York City. And then slowly but surely, I got introduced to all these great chefs in New York who were seasoned, who have the battle scars. And I was intrigued by the idea of kind of like what you mentioned. I think in
yeah,
a lot of industries, people who enjoy their careers, it's because, I mean, the task that they face daily at hand, it really comes down to creating something and then seeing it accomplished. And in culinary arts, you get that feeling or that reward every time you step into the kitchen. Some people, they work on projects like architects and engineers. They're working on a project for months, even sometimes years at a time, until they see the final product to be like, I created this. And I'm saying that in the most, I mean, I guess in the least narcissistic way possible. I mean, it's good for
yeah,
chefs to be proud of what they create, but there's
yeah,
something definitely rewarding about that immediate, you know, production process and then seeing the end result. And then further, seeing how much people enjoy what you've created. And
yeah.
that's what really sticks with me and kind of drives my commitment.
Oh yeah, I definitely know what you mean. Like every time I like learn how to make some, and then I get to put it out there and have my coworkers try what I create, and they tell
Yes.
me how much they love it. Yeah, that brings some joy to me because I know they're not just telling me it's good because they trying to spare my feelings. Like it's like I know it's good. I've tried it before they tried it, and I
Right.
know they're telling me what they actually feel because how I really know if they mean what they say is if the dessert's there and before the shift starts, it's all gone. I know that
Yeah.
that they really loved it, and they'll usually tell me, "Hey, when you gonna make it again?" It's just, I mean, that makes it sound. I mean, that lets you know, like, yeah, you on the right track, and that just kind of keeps me going. Like I get that, you know. I mean, and the thing about it is, a teacher there, I'm not just learning something just like as far as what what they're teaching me, but the teacher that I'm under, she lets me like say, hey, what do you want to learn to make? And I tell her what I want to make. I give her enough time to let her know so she can make time for me to learn. Then out there, I just go and learn how to make it, and it kind of makes me excited to do it, even though I have to get up a little earlier than I normally have to. But the reward in outweighs, all the sleep I could have, gotten. Because I actually feel more energized after I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's an adrenaline rush, and throughout our careers, we're it's almost like we're chasing those, those moments.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I should have definitely went the pastry route.
I mean, you know,
a
everybody.
lot, a much cleaner environment.
Well, I mean, you know, you went where your passion took you.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of lucky. I ran into a job where I could actually learn that because I certainly wasn't expecting it. You know, to find a job where I would learn pastry, or if I did, I'd probably have to travel to another country or something, and hope to run into it.
Yeah, the demand for American chefs are always large abroad. I think that's when I capitalized on it in 2015. Because right now, even if you look on LinkedIn, I mean, unfortunately, most of them are for like cruise ships, but
Right.
American and European pastry chefs are in high demand in and throughout Asia. More so on the cruise ship and hotel kind of platform.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a
But
friend who works.
committing to a cruise ship is
Yeah,
it's a trip
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
Because I heard you had to have like a special certification to work overseas, and
I mean, you
I
can
think
get the
it's
certification if you find
yeah,
the right company, the right hospitality group. They go
or
above and
yeah,
beyond to make sure that they, you know, procure your talents and services. You don't have to worry about the paperwork. It's just a matter of kind of having the ability to have time for yourself, because hotels and cruise ships are very demanding. The hours when the hours aren't necessarily long, I uh, I promise you they're that much more consistent, and you're gonna be
yeah.
committing to like a month at a time to really executing your job. Um, yeah.
I'm sure the
So
pay is really. I'm sure the pay is really well, but you'll be working every bit for it.
yeah, it's rewarding because everything's taken care of for a lot of these people on cruise ships. I mean, they have their room and board. Um, you have your percentages off your own meals and activities while you're on the ship or while you get to port wherever the ship is going to dock next. You
Mm,
get your discounts on activities there, so you're making money and not really spending money. But it's definitely
yeah,
not the investment you want to make if you have a family. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot
yeah,
of people on cruises with families, and they're saving a huge chunk of money, working 3 months at a time,
right.
and bringing it all back home, or sending it back home as they go along. Um, but yeah, that's the only thing I can't see myself doing. The
I
older I get, at
understand.
least.
Yeah, I mean, I remember having friends who were like musicians, and they played at they went on the BB King All Star Cruise, and they would go 6 months at a time, and then they come back and they be set like because I know like few of my friends they were like kind of struggling, but once they got that gig, they doing well now.
Yeah,
Some even go back a few times. So
yeah. They
um,
become what is it like for the prisons that you become institutionalized? It becomes all you know. So you're like, I got to get back to the ship.
I think it's like for that, and then I think they become better musicians like when they come back. So they actually get better at what they get better at their craft when they come back.
Yeah, because it's really all you're living,
Yeah,
for those extended periods of time, and you find yourself in your field when that's all you have.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. You got nothing but focus on your craft. So yeah, I can
Not
definitely
to
see
mention
that.
you're getting to travel at the same time,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
you can definitely explore and try new foods, and go a step further. When you get to that new region and you have that one dish that you enjoy, you can always ask to speak to the chef and say, "Hey, how did you create this? This is beautiful. I'd love to recreate this." I encourage so many of my friends to talk to the chefs. A chef in a restaurant, 9 times out of 10, will always come out of the kitchen if you have something good to say to them about the meal that's prepared, and that's better than a tip. I mean, the tip, yeah, they'll go to the front of the house. Servers deserve it 100%. But
yeah,
people that recognize chefs, that's it means more than an individual ever know. It means a lot to the chef, and you can also learn
yeah,
something at the same time.
yeah. I remember when I first learned how to make the devil foods cake, and I remember I made it because I made two on one for the staff and like one for like Thanksgiving. And I remember the one I had for the staff. I think it was like I think like chef loved the cake, but he was like said, man, that's too rich, man. That's really rich. I mean, but I mean it was done right, but he just couldn't eat the eat the whole thing. But he said it's good. He said he just couldn't eat the whole thing. So I guess like whatever he had left, he he had me go out and serve it to his mother because I think his mother was there eating there. So had me go out and serve the cake to her, and after that, she ate it, she loved it, she thanked me, and then I think uh then I think she thanked me again, like saying, yeah, that was the best cake I best chocolate one of the best chocolate cakes I ever had. And I told her, I said, what if I told you I was the first one I actually ever made? I said, really? Wow, you were doing a great job. I mean, that was the first cake I ever made. Like I think like when I put like pictures of like some of the desserts I made on my Instagram, those are like the first tries.
Now, that specific recipe, where did that come from? Was it
Uh,
something that you recreated, or you kind of just use your culinary logic to craft it?
well, I mean, I was learning how to make it, so I took it off. It was off a recipe, but I mean, of course, like with like how like usually I think it was like a really rich one. So instead of like using like like the brown sugar and granulated sugar, it was just using straight brown sugar, so it
Yeah,
would give it that rich flavor.
and there's a big difference. It even comes down to barbecue sauce.
Yeah,
Um, you use molasses over dark brown sugar in a lot of cases, and it makes all the world of difference.
yeah. I mean, I kind of found out like that brown sugar actually tastes sweeter because I remember I was following like this brownie recipe. It was saying use like just using like the granulated sugar, but when I after I made it, it was done. It was okay, but I didn't feel like it was like really had enough sweetness to it. So I say, hey, maybe so what about instead of doing the regular sugar, how about I just put brown sugar instead? 'Cause I think yeah, I think it's supposed to be half half, but I was like, let me just put the whole thing put nothing but brown sugar, and that made a world difference. It was like I was like, man, this is so good. And this was
The
the
funny
taste
thing
I was
about brown
looking for.
sugar,
Yeah,
you can bless and curse a meal with brown sugar. I made a butter toffee recently, and I didn't have caster sugar or regular granulated white sugar in
yeah,
my proximity. So I had like this half bag, like the 500-gram bags of Tate and Lyle light brown sugar. I used that in it instead, and man, it was so earthy, and I guess you can say rich. And I was
yeah,
just like, nah, I can't. And I had to get rid of the whole batch. It was a small batch. It was just something I was
yeah,
using to glaze um, this brioche thing that I was making. But still,
yeah,
it made a huge difference. So it can help you and it can hinder you at the same time. You just got to know when to use it, I guess. That's in all
yeah,
things. Yeah.
yeah. And I know it's like Salt brings out the flavor and anything, but I guess even probably then that's probably times use that too. But I'm pretty sure probably gonna need salt more than not than a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like I have this corn souffle that I'm really enjoy making it. I've had a couple other people. I gave them the recipe to recreate themselves, and they see the salt in the recipe, and they're just like, "That seems like a unusually high amount, I guess, in comparison to the ratio of sugar." But I'm like, you
Right.
need the salt sometimes to really let those notes of sweetness come through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I tell people, sprinkle some salt on a. Not for everybody to get sodium crazy, but I'm like, sprinkle some salt on a chocolate chip cookie, your favorite chocolate chip cookie. It's gonna
Yeah.
change completely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. 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 I definitely found the hard way. I never found out like when I didn't put salt in the cookie, it just kind of tastes kind of bland. But once you put the sugar in it, it brings out the sweetness in it.
yeah,
And like things like my teacher taught me. She was telling me that like he was like even though you had a recipe, he was saying like she was saying that like pastries isn't an exact science. When you so you might have to tweak it at times.
yeah, yeah. It's not an exact science, but you definitely need a base. You need some direction to
Yeah,
go in, and then you kind of
yeah,
you fill it out from there. So I guess you have the when you have the formal culinary training.
yeah.
I mean, that gets you started, and then from there, that's when you learn to become better than the recipe that you've ever read. You know,
Right.
turn this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely want to get a level where I can just like be able to really create recipes. Create really be able to create my own recipes. But for now, I'm just gonna learn all I can and do it from there. But but yeah, I definitely learned a lot of different mixing techniques. Like it's like especially like when you're scraping the bowl, like it's like different techniques you do the spatula. I mean, I was like hearing about the gentlest one known as the ganache method.
Yeah,
Yeah, which I
yeah.
was
This
like, oh,
techniques. Have
yeah, I
you
was like,
ever
oh, I was like,
have you ever made a hot custard, right? And let's say you're using heavy cream in this custard. You know, you're starting from scratch. You got your cream, you got your eggs, your sugar. Have you ever over mixed it? And this is before you add. Let's say it's a custard that requires corn flour. Um, Even though usually the egg yolk is usually enough, but sometimes people add corn flour. If you over mix it, it just keeps pulling and pulling oxygen. And
mm,
it almost makes it like when it finally cools down, it's so thick, and it's not even because the corn flour or the egg yolk. It's just
just
because
put put too
you've
much air
loosened it.
into it.
Yeah, too much air,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, she tell me about that too. Like, yeah, like not to be careful about me over mixing it or not letting a whole lot of air in. But I guess it's like like you said with certain things. I guess it's just like a time to put a lot of air in it, and then there's times where you don't.
yeah,
And I kind of like found out that sour cream is used in certain sweets. Like a lot of cakes and stuff like that.
yeah. It's lighter.
Yeah,
Even
because I mean,
Intimates, the
yeah,
Intimates pound cakes, that they have like a sour cream one or something.
yeah. I mean, if she didn't tell me like what it means, I'd have been like, well, why would you use sour cream? I'm like that don't sound like that's gonna taste good, but but find out you don't even really taste the sour cream.
You can go crazy with a lot of chocolates. You can introduce
Yeah.
some wacky things, like in chocolate brownies. You can add like I've added ancho chili. Like I take the ancho chili pods, they're already dehydrated. I grind them up and I put them in the brownie mix. And I guess the chocolate overpowers the flavor of the chili itself because the ancho chili is not categorized as a spicy chili. It's in the sweet family of chilies. But
Hmm.
when you eat the brownie with that in it, it provides this warmth in your mouth, and it's not heat. It just warms your mouth. And then you mix that with the texture of the chocolate um, itself and the texture of the brownie, and it's a weird combination, but it works.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't think anchovies have a place in pastry, but I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there who's taking the leap. You know?
I mean, that would be interesting if someone could work that into a pastry and make and really have people enjoy it. That would be
Yeah.
very interesting to see.
Yeah. The only way I can see sugar and anchovies working together is in a salad with the majority of the sugar coming from a fresh fruit, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but people thought crazy things like and like when I think it was like I think it was like the past few months, like one of the chefs were telling me about the show Chef's Table and telling me that if I was, they were telling me like, yeah, if you're really interested in pastry, you want to check this out. And they're telling me about one particular chef named Christina Tassi,
Oh
and
yeah,
like
I'm
her
familiar with
style,
her.
yeah, 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 well, yeah. You did say you're from New York, so you probably either heard of her, or probably met her somewhere. Yeah, it was talking about like how she has a American style and she had that love of sweets and everything like that. I was like, I said, I was telling myself like, yeah, I feel that because that's how I kind of feel about it. And then seeing her, create different stuff that people didn't really think about, like making I think she made a panna cotta with cereal milk, like cereal milk
Okay.
flavor. Yeah, she made like
Yeah, that's that Momofuku style. You familiar with Momofuku?
no, I haven't heard that, but that's probably something I need to look
It's
up.
yeah, I think you'd be interested in the pastries they create. There's a Momofuku in New York. I mean, it's more than pastry. They do a whole bunch of different things, but they're known for their pastries. They're actually
Okay.
quite pricey. Like I've eaten their pastries, and I kind of calculate the food cost in my head, and I'm just like, wow, they're making a killing because yeah, I don't know if it was just a trend at the time, but yeah, they actually have like ice creams that are like cereal flavored, or at least they're using the milk. They're rendering out the milk from these children's cereals,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. I
and
know how
they're
sweet
and
that
they're
is.
adding it to their pastries. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because
For
I'm
all I
like,
know, she could have been the one that consulted for them and got them started with that.
she possibly could have. Because I was like, she's talking about like making a flavor using the milk after you eat the cereal. I was like, I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
I might have thought of it at some point, but I wouldn't have thought of it like right then. Like, man, we should have something made with the cereal milk. Like, it was that was a very interesting concept, and she sells it. I'm like, wow, okay. That-
Well, now it's up to you to patent the next trend.
oh yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to making my own once I get a better understanding of of pastries. then I can go and experiment.
Well, see that the cool thing is you can do that at home. For me, it's a little tricky. It's like if I have an idea,
Yeah,
um, it's all going to start on paper, at least for the type of cuisine that I'm creating.
right,
Um, because when I try to implement the variable of smoke, I can't really do that in my house. I can't even do that on my balcony. Like I mean, I recently moved, so I have a like a this balcony that I'm looking at right now. It's like a nice size, and I'm just like, man, I could put a little smoker out there, but I don't think the co-op would be too happy with that. But yeah, it's like I think at some point in my life, I'd like to have that ability to kind of bring my work home and craft some things. I mean, I'm a block away from my restaurant now. I could just go over there and try out some things. But just being in the comfort of your home and really getting those creative juices flowing, and you can do that with pastry. You can wake up at
yeah,
3 in the morning and be like, hey, let me jot this down and do some mise en place right now, and then I'll work on it tomorrow. As soon as you have an idea.
right.
So that's to your advantage for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It would definitely be a lot easier because yeah, if you had to smoke something out, yeah, you could set out smoke the taste, and if people think
Yeah.
the place is on fire.
And you don't want to mess with municipality here. There's this thing called civil defense here, and they are keen on preventing fires in the UAE because there aren't fire hydrants anywhere. So when there's a fire here, it's I mean a fire is always taken seriously no matter where it occurs, but particularly here when you have the heat that already kind of envelops the Middle East, plus a fire, plus you know it's not limited water. There's access to water, but there aren't. It's not like major cities in the United States where you have fire hydrants everywhere. So it's like you really have to plan out how to put out a fire. So there's a lot of energy and effort that goes into fire prevention here in the UAE, and it's a big course for chefs to study when they get here and they get established with a restaurant. That kind of comes first before everything else. Yeah, actually, so you'll have the health and safety standards that are covered that you have to become well versed
Yeah.
in, and then fire prevention is a big one here.
So what exactly is the UAE?
The United Arab Emirates.
Okay, so that locate. You say yeah, I think you said that was located in the Middle East.
Yeah, I'm in Dubai, so
Oh, okay,
I'm kind of between. Like I've been lucky enough to work between Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
okay.
Yeah, so fire prevention, big deal here. So I think me lighting up a little smoker on my balcony, I'm pretty sure I would get deported.
Some of you Americans think you can do whatever you want
Yeah,
to. Go back to your own country.
exactly. But that's the cool thing. A lot of Americans
Mm,
that are here, they look for the type of food. It's comfort food. It brings back some of the best memories in their lives. So they come into the restaurant just mesmerized at the similarities to their favorite smokehouses or steakhouses back home.
yeah, yeah. I
And
remember I had a friend. I had a friend in Japan. Like he knows some people that make soul food in Japan, and they make it a killing off of it
yeah,
because
I follow a lot of them on Instagram in Japan and in Korea.
yeah,
You wouldn't believe it. I see these dishes, and I'm thinking it's coming from a soul food restaurant. I'm just like, wow.
yeah,
But then again, there you go with when I was mentioning about consulting earlier, and people just traveling abroad and just bringing this food just to the strangest of places all over the world. I was in South Africa in August, and Yeah, I was eating at this seafood restaurant, and just by the looks of it, I was like, okay, this is borderline fine dining. But then I look at the menu, and I felt like I was sitting in like a Massachusetts, you know, seafood restaurant, and I was amazed. And I was like, somebody, whoever created this menu, they had to have eaten in Massachusetts, or they're a chef from Massachusetts that either works there now or came on board to create the menu and went back home.
Hmm.
So you could find anything everywhere.
So I mean, you mentioned that you travel. Like, how were you? How were you able to get involved with traveling and learning learning to get to other places, learning your craft in different countries.
Well, I mean, I guess it all started on with signing on with these different hospitality groups. Um, in New York, I was with Hill Country Hospitality. Then a good friend of mine who ultimately taught me the lesson on why you should never burn bridges in this industry. Um, yeah, I was working with Hill Country Hospitality at the time, and he reached out to me. He just moved to London because another chef we worked with moved to London and brought him out there. Um, that guy ultimately left, and he ended up contacting me, and he's like, "Hey, man, there's these three restaurants. Um, I can use your help out here because it was centered on American barbecue and meats and curing and butchering and all this stuff." And it was thrown out there to me for me to kind of help him find somebody. But then ultimately, I was like, I talked to my wife. I was like, "Hey, would you be interested in moving to London?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." And then we really went full force and got back in touch. And next thing you knew, we were working out there with that hospitality group. And when you work with these larger hospitality groups, they're pulling in chefs from all over the world, even outside of their original concept. They're bringing in chefs from all over the world. So that experience there, that's what really helped me become more knowledgeable in global culinary trends and techniques. So yeah, it's like it's for work. It's not really for leisure. I mean, I try every summer. I want to go to a different country, just for leisure, just my wife, son, and I, and just explore and see what's out there. Our goal is to have traveled to every continent by 2023.
Hmm.
So right now we've hit 4 out of 7. So that's just our personal family goal.
Okay,
Because
so
10 years
like
ago, or what is it? No, 5 years ago, we were really content with being in New York, and everybody wants to be in New York. And I feel like we were the only people that were like, "Nah, we got to get out of here."
hey, hey, you do what you gotta do, but like would it be harder for someone who probably didn't go to college for, being a chef, but did learn, their skills under a chef? Would it be harder for them, or would they still need to go to culinary school if they wanted to work in the hospitality sector?
Abroad, or you mean referring
Uh,
to
I
within the United States?
Either one.
Either one. Well, I don't
Yeah,
know. It's hard to speak for everyone. It's just I was surrounded with chefs that
yeah,
didn't have the formal culinary training, but they've committed 20 to 30 years of their life to I guess acquiring the same skills, just at a slower pace. I
yeah,
mean, even chefs that get out of culinary school, they're constantly learning. And getting
yeah,
out of culinary school in and of itself, I mean, it's an accomplishment. And then it actually builds your confidence. That's something that money can't buy, even though you're paying for it. But that
yeah,
confidence is something that you gain from culinary school. Um, and then you get out into the real world, and that's when you can face some challenges. I guess it depends on who you know and who you network with in culinary school. But for as many friends that I have that are successful just out of culinary school, I have just as many friends who have not gone, and they have reached pinnacles that I can only dream of.
Mm.
And they were driven solely by passion and getting knowledge, grinding out of the mud, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I would always say, like, if my son said he's interested, he's like, oh, I want to become a chef. He's only 10, and I would do everything in my power to prevent him from becoming a chef. But if he if he really wants to become a chef, I would think I would definitely point him in the direction of finding a nice, well-established culinary school to really build his foundation. Because my wife and I, we're going to start at home and get him, at least give him that leg up on understanding what he's doing.
Right.
But that school will definitely, help him be more mindful of his tact, his portfolio, his resume. We can't control that.
Right.
So I guess overall, I would recommend that people definitely go to culinary school, especially if they had the interest, but they never really grew up with it in their household. Because more and more people, and this I see city like, especially in London and Dubai, there are so few people cooking these days. Everything is people are like going out to eat and ordering off an app. Because before
Yeah.
ordering off an app, like in the onset of online deliveries and stuff like that, it was only kind of like bullshit, like like Pizza Hut and stuff like that. But now at your
Right.
fingertips, you can choose. You can say, "Hey, today I want Russian cuisine. Hey, today I want South African cuisine." You can really pick quality foods to have delivered to your home. So it breeds a culture of people just cooking less at home. So it's going to kind of make it harder for the next generation of what is it? I would call them like raw chefs. Like I'm talking about like from they were born in it and living it at a very early age. Less of those types of people are being created just by the culture of food right now. So there's going to be more and more people that are going to have to seek out a culinary institute to get into the career.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even though, yeah, like me, I'm kind of like just learned it, but I mean, I had a passion for it. I mean, I just kind of like looked into it, but as far as me learning, I mean, I'm not getting paid for it because like right now I'm working as a dishwasher, but like in my free time, I learn baking. I learn how to make pastries.
Oh, so you're building a rapport with your other colleagues in the same restaurant.
Yeah, I think I had asked. I remember I was asking about the. It was like some ice cream. I asked about it, like, and then when the chef told me like, yeah, you should ask her, ask such about how to make stuff like that. So then I went and asked. I said, yeah, I heard that you were the person to talk to if I want to learn how to bake, and she was like, yeah, I'll teach you. And I
Yeah, so
and I,
it's
and
like
I yeah. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much like whatever. Like if I wanted to learn, if my passion wasn't baking, I wanted to like learn like certain things with different types of cuisines. Like I'm sure the head chef, the owner of the building, he would be more than happy to teach me
for
because I
sure.
mean he has a
If
real
by
love
nature
for it.
they are a real chef, then
Yeah.
they want to share their
Yeah.
knowledge.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah. He definitely does. He tell yeah. I think he says he loves everything about cooking except the business part. Everything else he loves about it.
yeah, I keep trying to explain that to my friends who don't work in the industry. I'm like, there's two
Yeah,
sides of it. There's the there's
yeah,
the there's the artistry and kind of what you see that's advertised, and
yeah.
then there's making dollars make sense. That's
Right.
two completely different things. And people like,
Yeah,
even I have people today, guests. that, they're really happy with their meal. And, I might change something a couple months later, and they're just like, oh, this is an interesting change. We like it, but it's different. And, in reality, the change occurred because you were trying to save your food cost. You were adjusting,
Mm.
tweaking something small to ultimately, get a better return, get a better profit on that dish.
Right.
And you can't really say that to a guest. That's a long conversation to have, unless you're speaking to a guest that's also a fellow chef, which happens quite a
Yeah.
bit. And then you never know. That chef might give you some insight to be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't change this to this. You could change it to this, and you can actually make more money. You know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like when I had I think it was like a couple weeks ago, I learned how to make lemon meringue pie, and I made I don't know if I don't know if curd and custard are the same thing. It might be two different things, but we made like the lemon curd with Myers lemons. I didn't know there was different types of lemons, but
Yeah.
but the smell of the Myers lemon was definitely different than what I you smelling from the smell of regular lemons. It had a more herbal smell to it, but I guess like it had a guess it gave it a good taste because like the recipe that I had used to make it was from a chef that I guess my teacher knew, and she trusts the recipe was gonna be good, and and I guess after I had made it, chef came to me and said, yeah, I get this yeah, say lemon meringue was amazing. I give it a 9.5. I mean, I think he would have gave me a 10, but he said I don't do tens. Cause yeah, I mean, I think like when I made the meringue, he told me like yes, yeah, it was undercooked. I mean, I didn't want them to like burn, so I guess I just kind of like had them slightly undercooked so they'd be soft. But I mean, on top of that, we didn't have no time to cool them, so we had to make it like where scoop them out and all that. So, but I think like did he was like saying yeah, that's a 7. Seven, they like yeah, 7 out of 10 or something like that. Yeah, 7 or 5, one of them. It wasn't a great score, but he was like, yeah, it's still pretty good. And then I told like some chef, like, yeah, he gave it 7. I was like, that's better than you give most people. You don't. I was like, yeah. I
Yeah.
said, yeah, I wasn't expecting a 10. He said, yeah, he never gives anybody a 10.
But I mean, I really hope you truly appreciate that
Yeah, yeah,
you're getting like a great crash course. It's almost like
yeah,
you're fast tracked to baking.
yeah,
Because people in school, there's a lot of formal steps um, that they're graded on, and their mistakes can cost them their grade. Your mistakes, you learn from them, and you become better from it, and then you're still learning more from these people that are teaching you.
yeah,
So you're at a great advantage.
yeah. Cause I was like, well, it's a and then on top of that, I'm saving money, but I mean, I would save money if I was like trying to raise up to go to a school, and then even after I
Well, some
learned it,
schools
probably,
have work studies.
huh?
Um, some well established
Yeah,
culinary arts schools. Um, I just don't know how comfortable you feel with completely changing your life and schedule to working for a school. But yeah, that's always an option.
yeah. But I
Especially
mean,
you can get those if you have those references from these chefs that you're working with now.
yeah, I mean, and especially like the chef I learned from is one of the best in my city, so I'm sure like that would probably
Yeah,
go a
you
long
get
way.
someone like that to co-sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait, I have a question for you. This is kind of outside of
Okay.
culinary arts. Um, so tell me about you and your journey and your relationship with YouTube, because I mean, there's a lot of people on YouTube. There's a lot of people that watch YouTube, and there's a lot of people that take the leap to create content for YouTube. Um, so what's your take on that? What's your story on that? On what made you create a YouTube channel?
Really, I was never intending on making well, not in content. At least I'm not on this channel, but I was trying to do it on another channel, but that wasn't doing great. And I guess like it started on me like trying to let one of my friends see a video that I was posting. It was like me doing like Chicago stepping since I couldn't send the full video to her like on the site that we were talking on. So I had to
Yeah,
send like a messenger that I put on there, but I didn't know I had on public. And like by the time I uploaded, she seen it. By the time I was ready to take it down, there's like no people commenting on it. Want to know more about it. I'm like, okay. And I was like, well, and people wanted to see more. And then just over time I started doing more things that I like. And even though I don't have really, really big audience, I just like to, do things, do different things. Like, I started this conversation with Zero because, it was like I found people, find like certain things interesting. If I find somebody interesting, I want to bring them on and talk. I don't really care if, if you're a big YouTuber, you're a small YouTuber, or you're not a YouTuber at all. It's just like if
yeah.
I
I mean,
think you got a story to tell or something interesting, something people learn from, even if it ain't like a particular thing. It's just like, someone, describing their life could be, interesting. That person
yeah.
might
It's
not think
it's
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 interesting.
definitely a
Yeah,
platform.
yeah,
It's a platform that a lot of people take for granted, actually.
yeah,
Just in its, I mean, in its most innocent form, it's it's a really huge means of communication for people all over the world to
yeah,
share their thoughts and ideas. And even though
yeah,
it's becoming more and more regulated, um, I mean, that's still there. That still exists. The concept of sharing
yeah,
information.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
doesn't get better than that.
Yeah. I think probably without YouTube or yeah, I think without YouTube, I probably would have never met people that I probably wouldn't have never met if if I didn't know them on the internet. I probably never met them in real life. Probably never ran into them at any time. And these are people that I've formed formed relationships with and formed friendships and all that. And now and it's like if there's never this this platform here, I would have never met these people.
Well,
I
I
mean, matter of
came
fact,
into
all right. Yeah, for example, me and you, we've never had this conversation if it wasn't for YouTube.
exactly. I came into YouTube at a simpler time, though. This was
Yeah,
before the beef and the doxing and everything. So a lot of people that I encounter, not even necessarily in the beef and drama sector, they're just like, "Why are you using your real name?" And I'm just like, I
yeah.
had this account for so long. This was
I mean, I
before
mean, I
anybody
mean,
cared about that.
yeah. I've had the account, but it was just like originally it was supposed to be just like an account. I just, my personal account that I just used to,
Yeah, so you can
just
comment and like videos
yeah,
and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. I never actually intended on this being used for content. But I was like, well, since people want to see certain things, I was like, I guess I might as well use it.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I actually didn't start really putting what I call content, my content. I didn't really start putting
Yeah,
energy into it until like 2 years ago. Um, and not necessarily for it to garner views or any type of attention. It's just I
Yeah,
just realized that I wanted to start documenting memories because I look back,
yeah,
like especially when I move out of the United States, you kind of pack up and you kind of look at things a little differently. Like I was looking at photo albums and stuff, and I'm like, wow, my parents took a lot of photos. Um, and that made me wonder even more what didn't they document, in my life and in our family's life. So that made me become really keen on kind of documenting what's going on with my family. So my son, when he takes the leap one day, he's out in this world on his own. He's able to really look back and kind of reflect on, where he came from. So that was my initial kind of step into, exploring the possibilities of YouTube and becoming a little more active in the YouTube community. So yeah, and I kind of just work off that basis. I mean, I
yeah.
have
I
some
mean,
videos that have gotten like I don't know, I think that like almost 3,000 views, and this is the video that I just made, didn't think anything of it, and then I checked back again on it. What is it like 3 or 4 months later, and I was like, wow, just it actually something happened with this, and that was just a bonus on top of my my purpose for YouTube. So I kind of leave it
yeah,
at that.
I've noticed like certain videos will get like it'll go like it won't get much views at all, and then all of a sudden it gets a whole lot of views. I don't know how it happened. Maybe certain algorithms decided to put it out
Yeah,
there.
and look at this. We already have one dislike.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. That was before the stream started. I looked. I was like, wow, okay. I was like, someone took the time
He
to
said,
do that.
not one thought or idea was shared, but that quickly somebody can leave a thumbs down. But it's
Yeah, I
all
just
good.
I just gotta laugh at that because I'm like, well, okay. Well, I mean, it doesn't do anything to the stream. I mean, yeah, like a dislike, still promotes it. So I don't even worry about that.
I think a big problem on YouTube right now is the the ratio of content creators to content watchers. There, I feel like it's becoming the same. I I feel like I mean, in the bandwidth used on YouTube, I think there's a possibility it can become overexhausted, which is why YouTube is going out of their way to kind of their purpose isn't to discourage people from starting YouTube channels, but they're definitely making it a lot harder for people to, you know, become monetized as well as even be seen on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
mean, yeah. YouTube's actually been doing that for a while. It's just now, people are just being more and more aware of it.
but something's got to go. I'm sorry on YouTube.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like everybody's doing a challenge. Everybody's doing a mukbang. I'm like, oh come on, man. Like I have friends. They're like, oh yo, YouTube channel, cool. I'm gonna start one next week. And then
I
I go
never.
to their channel and they're doing a chicken wing challenge. I'm just like, yo, there's like 12,000 of these videos.
I never really understand the mukbang videos. I just never been interested in them. Like it's like okay, I'm like sitting here watching you eat food. I'm like,
No, I mean I
well, yeah,
get it. I I
yeah, yeah,
I
man,
understand the intrigue. Um, but it's just some people you can genuinely feel that them being there, it's uh it's like them on autopilot. It's kind of robotic. They're like, I'm supposed to do this because I'm on YouTube.
right,
Um, and that's not the larger ones. The larger ones, the larger like mukbang challenge channels, they're big for a reason. Those people bring a lot of personality. They
yeah,
have a story to tell. They weave that kind of into their content, and yeah, it it gives them a purpose for a lot of people, you know, to enjoy that content. But then
Yeah,
on the flip side, like I said, you got some people following trends, and yeah, it's just oversaturated, and that you could find that in any kind of popular thing, even in the gaming community. There's top gamers who people enjoy watching their content, and then there's people who, I don't know, they play they play the same game and don't want to explore anything else. Then their channel becomes, you know, about one game, or I don't know. It's all I can say is I guess YouTube rewards creativity, and a lot of people give YouTube a lot of flack about that, saying, "Oh yeah, they're only picking a handful of people to kind of promote." But I mean, at the end of the day, YouTube, they're about, you know, making money and putting out content that masses will watch. So,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, the more
yeah,
creative somebody can be, they never know. They can have that overnight success with that one video covering the one topic that hasn't been covered yet. And then now they create their own community. And everybody has the chance to do that. So I guess that's the great thing.
yeah. I mean, I mean, I definitely, me, I do, like what I enjoy, if like certain videos, like if I, get creative with it, that's my thing. But I think me, I don't stick with just one particular thing. Now, I mean, more people can say, well, see a lot of gameplay videos. I mean, I do them because, like, just like kind of relaxing. I'm thinking, like, well, if I'm gonna be playing games, I might as well just stream it and
Yeah. No, but I don't
use.
think that you're like, I don't think you're clickbaiting people into what you're doing. Like
Yeah,
there's somebody right now. Let's take your favorite game, and a particular video blows up about it. You're gonna have thousands of gamers after that using the same exact title that that other gamer used.
right,
Um, you know, covering the same topics in the game. Um, Kind of really up talking the same mission or level in the game. Like that's, it gets out of control. It's just like sometimes you want to find something. Even I'm talking about outside of gaming. Let's say you want to find out about. Let's say the FDA releases a report that Minute Maid is bad for you. Just for example, a juice.
right.
If you type that into YouTube, because it's the trending topic, there's gonna be thousands of videos on it, and it's just like you just want to find the one that gives you the facts, and you're not gonna find it because it's just flooded with filler.
Yeah,
And YouTube's trying to do their best to kind of keep track of that, you know, the whole clickbaiting thing. But it's hard, and you know, it's they have to use all these resources to kind of keep up with that. So I can see their side of things, and just making more restrictions and kind of weeding out, you know, the people who, I don't know, it's not nefarious, but there's definitely a lot of shenanigans going on YouTube, and people really clawing and trying to get the attention and get to the top.
yeah. I mean, people do like these beef and drama channels. Like if you ever see like the bigger YouTubers, they don't really like doing beef and drama because they know even though it may get them views in the short term, they know once that drama's over, it's gonna go back down the same numbers, and then on top of that, they're
Yeah,
actually
and
losing money.
yeah, and depending on the drama itself, it just might not be advertisement friendly, even while they're in the middle of it. You know.
Yeah, I've heard like YouTube is like been slowly wanting to get rid of these drama channels. I don't know how long until they actually do that, but I would say channels that
Well, that's the
thrive on
thing.
drama. Yeah,
On a smaller level, it's harder to define what a drama channel is. Like, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with a lot of elements in the black sector of YouTube, um,
yeah, yeah,
and you know we can acknowledge that without even saying any names.
Yeah, yeah,
because
right now.
the moment we
Everything.
drop a name, then somebody takes that soundbite, and now you and me, we're dragged into a YouTube beef that we want nothing to do with. You know?
And I
Um,
heard down here sometimes algorithms might actually, put you in, put like a video in there if you say, a certain person's name that maybe kind of maybe known in YouTube or something like that. So yeah, that could be a possibility as well.
yeah.
You know,
I'm trying to remember how I came across your channel.
I know we met a somebody, some common YouTube channel. I know I seen you around because I know I see you come around like a few channels, and I know I see your channel. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Let me check out the channel and I subscribed, but I can't remember the exact YouTuber I seen you. The first channel I seen you on. But
Well, hopefully it wasn't a drama channel. I'm trying to
oh
trying to
no,
figure this out.
I don't think it was. I'm pretty sure it was. But
But no, it's
yeah, I
cool.
don't.
It's cool that we're
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I really don't really hang around in the drama channel. If I do, it's like it's probably because it ain't really much drama there, and I might be coming there to say hi, support and say hi, and then I'll just leave, because like yeah, people do what they do. I'm not gonna get involved in it. I'm not gonna condemn it or approve of it. I'm just gonna be like, okay, well, that's what they doing. Cool.
You're a neutral party.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because I think I was asked that on like a YouTuber's channel. She was asking me like, so I never really see you around. I don't know that much about you. I'm like, yeah, because I don't really be hanging around like that. I like make the
Because you don't
joke.
want
I
to get
said,
you don't want to get doxxed and dragged.
well, I mean, I ain't worried about doxing them. Ain't gonna really much to find them unless you actually, find the people that knew me when I was younger, and
Yeah,
they tell you. But good luck with trying to dox me because I don't put much information out on the internet anyway. So,
yeah.
but as far as that, I remember when she had asked me that, I said I go in the house before the street lights come on. That's why you don't see me out in the YouTube streets.
You apply that same logic to YouTube.
Yeah, at the YouTube streets, when you're a kid and your parents tell you to come in before the street lights come on. Yeah, I apply that same logic. But yeah, I wonder like is there a chef sector of YouTube like sector where like chefs come and get together?
Yeah, there's a lot of different cooking communities, but they're really split up kind of by subject matter of food. Like there's a bunch of grilling and barbecuing kind of channels that I frequent, and
Okay.
yeah, through certain streams we're able to congregate and you know talk, mostly joke about you know our our experiences and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's all very segregated. Like there would be a
Mm.
cake sector, and then a pie sector, and then a beef sector, and it's all very split up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I like to think that if there was a kind of a larger community that all came together, I think there'd be more drama in that than any other sector. Just
Yeah. I
because
mean, I try.
chefs they're very prideful. You tell somebody
Right.
one thing about something they're creating, you can ruin that guy's life forever, and now they're coming after you.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like within a social group, you get put people together, then they just section off and find their own groups. Which I mean, which
But I know
like which. Oh, go ahead.
there's Facebook groups. There's Facebook groups that kind of promote other YouTube channels by subject.
Hmm.
Um, but they get annoying because the notifications are just endless. It's like
Yeah.
I would love to be a part of these cooking groups, but you get into the group, it's just nonstop people advertising their channel. You get to the channel, it's not necessarily what they aim to talk about, um, as far as cooking. And you're like, oh, okay,
Right.
this was a waste of time. Now you're getting notifications on YouTube and on Facebook, and you're just like, oh, this is too much.
Yeah. 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 I was like, I mean, like I attempted to. I'm attempting now to create a sector where people with different talents can come together and unify. But and not even have to really worry about drama or beef or anything like that. But pretty sure that would be better, easier said than done. But I'm gonna
Yeah,
make the
well,
attempt anyway.
if you take the leap, send me the link, and I'll be there to check it out for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's like calling it was like the it's like my channel. I mean, on like a few of us now, but like it's so far as like me. I don't know if you, I don't know if you heard of Char Willie,
Yeah,
but
I know Char Willie.
yeah, she does like her. She really more promotes her just as Char homepage, and she also does like the neo sector for women channel.
Hey, but I remember Char Willie from some time ago. Um, See, now this is all going to come together of how we probably
Yeah,
met. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, she was in these streets.
I mean,
These
I mean,
YouTube
I
streets.
mean, I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, the streets. Like I think like a lot of YouTubers and Black YouTube like have her to thank for helping build their channels. Like,
Yeah,
and like I found out
everybody
like
has their irritations at some point. Yeah.
yeah, I found out till like last year that she was doing all that for free. I was like, what? Ain't nobody paid you. I mean, she just loving. She just wants to help. Like that's just her. She
Yeah,
wants help. She doesn't. I mean, but I was like, yeah, I was like thinking like, hold up, you done did this 3 years now. It's time for you to start getting paid for it. Because I know, cause she was like, I don't know, I want to add. No, no, free stuff's over with. I'm kind of censoring myself, but yeah, that's over with. she
yeah,
laughed. I'm like, yeah. Cause I mean, I'm like say don't let anybody tell you that what you have ain't worth paying for it. Because if it wasn't, they wouldn't be asking for it.
exactly. What was that?
So
What did the Joker say? The Joker said, "I learned if you're good at something, you never do it for free."
yeah,
Something like that. Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure if she was up, she'd probably be in here, probably, uh, probably be in here saying something now. But yeah, it's like 4 in the morning, and then on top of that, she done say she drank some wine, so I know she's out like a lamp. But okay, yeah, looks like we got a question for you, Chef. From Silk BB Scratch said, I may have missed a question. How long have you been a chef, and where did you train?
Well, I'm gonna say it's been a solid 12 years of professionally working in restaurants, and yeah, my training's coming from the same source as Zero. Just working with a lot of chefs at a younger age, and yeah, really absorbing all their skills. And that's been everywhere I've lived. I learned the most in London, but New York definitely got me on the right track. It helped me figure out what I wanted to do and kind of build a timeline of where I want to be. I'm not sure
Okay.
how vague I was right now, but
Yeah, I was like, never seen it. It looked like you've been doing it forever. It was like you had the chef jacket on, you had your arms crossed. I noticed, like, I seen, like, definition pit master. See somebody else they arms crossed. I was like one at that. So like what pit master do, like, yeah, so yeah, this is what I do. You just had arms fold.
every now and then we Photoshop AR-15 into our photos.
I mean, I seen one picture with you holding a stuffed bear or something like that. I was like, I ain't gonna put
Yeah,
that one on
that's
there.
my profile picture. Yeah, no, because
I was like,
the thing is that in my kind of in my trade, you know, the first thing I see is everybody trying to be a badass, which is cool
yeah,
because you have to build some thick skin, um, and it's a brutal job, and a lot of times you're dealing with a lot of fire, a lot of knife work. So you kind of see that. So I just wanted to do something that was ironic for my picture, like
right.
you see somebody holding a teddy bear. It's like bringing a calm to the storm, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure if you wanted that one on there, so I was like, I'm just gonna put the one where it looked more normal. But so you think you ever try to I don't know I don't even know if you ever try to do the a whole Iron Chef thing. Cause I'm like,
But right now, I have a lot of friends that actually have been on MasterChef.
hmm,
Um, the hospitality
I've heard,
group I work for opened the first MasterChef restaurant in the world. Um, so actually, I have a video kind of explaining it on my channel. Um, it's a MasterChef video where kind of I'm just highlighting just like the journey to opening that restaurant and everything like that. But in the midst of that restaurant opening and just kind of me being so closely affiliated with it, I got to meet, some cool chefs and restaurateurs that are, you know, kind of the voice behind the whole Master Chef concept. I even met the host from Master Chef Australia. He's on that video as well. But I don't know. There was this show called Fire Masters on the Food Network, and they reached out to me. But I think they did some research on me, and they realized that I'm not green. You know, like they're really looking for people on that show to kind of really be super hungry to be on the show, like people that are figuring out their careers, and they want people that are more green. I guess I'll leave it at that. But they saw, like,
okay,
that I established myself, in different countries or different restaurants. They were like, I don't know if we should put this guy on the show, because they want people to look scatterbrained, on shows like that. So, but yeah, I went through that whole interview process. I did a Skype with the producer and everything, and yeah, the ball started rolling. But I guess somebody up top was just like, nah, this this guy's gonna come on here and try to teach everybody something. Like, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking, but ultimately that didn't happen. Um,
yeah,
Two of the executive chefs I worked for in New York, they were on Top Chef. Ashley Falk and Tyler Boring. So
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
they
I
told
mean,
me kind of like how the whole show worked.
yeah. I was like, I don't really know too much about the shows because I don't really have a TV. I've heard of them, but I really don't know too much about it. But I've heard the shows. I'm like, yeah, these shows that people have been watching. I'm like, I'm sure that'll probably get people a whole lot of recognition from being on there.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially you having your resume open for the world to see, and then some. To learn a little bit more about how you operate, to learn about your demeanor in the kitchen, and
Yeah,
that builds a lot of chefs up, and also tears a lot of chefs down at the same time. You never know. I could
yeah,
have ended up on that show. I think it was the episode was being taped for around December or something. So it would have been recently if I got accepted to go on it. You never know. I could have had a meltdown on the show and destroyed my career. You know.
so well, at least you
Um,
well, at least you went on Gordon Ramsay show because I know you mess up real bad. You about to get cussed out.
yeah. Now, but Gordon Ramsay, he's awesome. I mean, on a
Yeah,
one-on-one
yeah,
basis, I met him in
yeah,
London. He's like, he's he's a true inspiration.
yeah. I
To a
mean,
lot of chefs,
yeah,
including myself.
yeah, yeah. I see it. Like the only time he really goes on people like he don't feel like you're trying, and he's like, yeah, oh, you're like you're not trying or you don't care about what you're doing.
Yeah,
That's like when he really gets on you. Other than that,
yeah. Because as a chef,
he
you know
actually
the shortcuts. You know the shortcuts you're taking, and it's just a
yeah,
matter of whether you're going to admit to them or you're going to try to disregard them. So
yeah,
life's a lot easier when you admit to your mistakes. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah. I definitely know chefs that tried to do that.
I've seen Silks BB somewhere as well before.
Yeah, I
I'm just
mean,
trying
yeah,
to remember where.
and I think she asked another one, asked another question too. This Hazy Green, thank you for asking. So you gain your skills before all this hoopla going to these chef schools?
I mean, for me, yeah. But I mean, I strongly encourage anybody with a genuine interest in the culinary field to, yeah, get into a culinary school. At least learn the basics,
Right,
because not every chef in the real world is keen on taking the time to train and nurture people. Um,
right,
I think culturally speaking, it really depends on your city as well. In New York, a lot of the chefs are really open to teaching. Um, but then if you get out to California, the chefs are a little more serious about self preservation and focusing on their careers, as opposed to kind of taking somebody under their wing. Which is when you in that environment you really got to kind of find your own lane and
yeah,
get your own knowledge. Yeah,
yeah. Cause I'm kind of lucky to have chefs that actually wanted to take me under their wing, and I think like the chef that that the restaurant I worked in, I think he did learn in New York. 'Cause I think it was like him and another guy he had hired on like worked under the same chef.
the thing is, New York is such a huge hospitality scene,
Yeah,
but it's so small at the same time. There's chefs I've worked with, um, that people have feared, and then I move on to somewhere else, and I'm chilling a couple years, and then lo and behold, that same chef's walks right in the door, and now they're my new executive chef, and I'm just like, damn, what did he remember about me? Did I say something wrong 2 years ago? Like, it happens. You really can't burn any bridges ever. You just can't. You just
yeah,
can't, because somebody's gonna remember you. That's why it's just always best to put your best foot forward. If you do, what is it? Shoot the dozens. Just make sure that person was laughing, you know, uh, with you and not at you, and you weren't offending anybody. And yeah, you can have a very promising and fulfilling career just based off
yeah,
that, just based off the prerequisite relationships you made with other chefs who were grinding just like you.
yeah. I think as far as me, I like want to focus on uh working for myself, but yeah, Yeah,
She
I
said
mean,
my granddaughter is very interested in becoming a chef ever since she was very young. She's 14 now. I'm assuming this is help. How can I help her? That's what Silks BB asked.
okay, must have showed up, and that must be in the live stream. Okay. Hmm.
Well, 14 is a good as age as any to start cooking at home for herself. Your
Yeah.
granddaughter, that is. Um, and I guess learning like I guess cooking is like anything else. Like especially like with learning in general, you have to learn how to learn. You have to learn how to receive information. So with
Right.
cooking, you actually it all starts with learning how to read a recipe. Um,
Yeah.
it's definitely more strenuous with pastry. I have to acknowledge that. My friends that are
Yeah.
pastry chefs, you really have to learn how to follow the recipes, every instruction. Pastry tends to come with a lot more technique weaved into the instructions. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would say get your granddaughter like an American cooking book. Um, just because I'm assuming she lives in America and you live in America, to really hone in on understanding kind of like the history of American cuisine and learning how to recreate those traditional meals at home. And that could be done on a budget. And that's
Yeah.
something to entertain like every weekend as an activity.
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all definitely learn with like pastry. Some pastries. You know, you it might take more than one day to fully set it up.
So like I said, I don't see myself. I want to show my son some things,
Yeah.
um, but I know his interest lies in kind of art, animation, and digital media. So if his path is to kind of be an animator and get into graphic design and digital arts, I'd support him all the way with that over becoming a chef. Because
Who knows?
I've been to the battle, and I don't want him to have
Yeah.
any parts of it.
Yeah. Who knows? He might choose both somehow. Weave both of them together.
He could. He might become the a producer for the Food Network. You never know. Behind
Yeah.
the scenes, kind of bringing the best of both worlds together as far as digital media. That'd be pretty
Yeah.
cool. And then
Yeah. That
he
would.
can get me onto a show.
Yeah. That would be pretty interesting. I would wonder what he would do with it. That would be the most curious thing.
But yeah, he knows very well what I do, um, or at least I let him know as much as I can kind of help him understand about what I do. Um, but yeah, he's showing an interest. At least I'll show him is kind of like knife skills, like how to sharpen a knife, how to cut
Yeah.
things properly. That's the basics. That I believe in. I mean, you go on YouTube now, you see some people cutting, kind of in their home, like cutting things with a knife.
Yeah.
He's like, you start cringing, you get a little scared because you're like, man, this person's gonna chop all their fingers off. You like tuck
Oh
those
yeah.
fingers back,
Yeah.
move your hand a little further up the blade, get some control of your
Yeah.
knife. You know.
Yeah. That claw technique. Yeah. I had to learn that. That was really uncomfortable learning. You know, getting your hand in a position, but you know, after a while, start getting used to it. But
Yeah,
it felt really unnatural.
yeah. Like I used to when I first started cutting, at least in restaurants, people looked at me like I was crazy because I mean, yeah, I had my fingers tucked back, but I had my carving hand really far up on the blade, of the knife. Like my index finger was literally resting on the back side of the knife, above the handle, and I did that because I felt like I had more control of the knife. But then later on, I learned that I'm kind of taken away from the potential of the knife, because you want to kind of cut things in a rocking motion,
Yeah.
and you can gain more speed that way, and just cut more efficiently. So I had to retrain myself on how at least how I was taught to use a knife at home.
Right.
Um, and that's not even a safety thing. That was just being more proficient with chopping and dicing. You want to chop an onion in 15 seconds, or you want to chop an onion in 3 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. That time's very important in a restaurant.
Tell your granddaughter to become a culinary director. that's
Right.
that's that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Take those steps. Get into the management side of culinary arts. If anything, that's what I would tell my son to do. I would keep him out of the kitchen. Um, I mean, culinary directors, they find themselves in the kitchen from time to time, but that's that's the that's the next generation of success in the culinary world. Becoming a director, a culinary director. That's where your granddaughter should head towards.
Yeah. I'm curious to see where where life's gonna take me and how cooking is going to change. But because like one of my favorite chef is actually Alton Brown, because I like how he applies, like he brings science into cooking.
Yeah, it's phenomenal what he does.
Yeah, I was like, and I heard
It's
like
too many
the
people
chefs.
say he's not a real chef. I'm like, yes, he is. He's more of a chef than a lot of chefs.
I never heard people say that, but I've heard people heard like the chefs call him the Bill Nye of cooking.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, I guess it would be. Yeah, I guess it would be. Yeah, science.
yeah. Alton Brown is awesome. But
I
man, I
didn't know
haven't
that.
watched.
Yeah, I was gonna say like yeah, I haven't. I didn't know people were saying that people were saying that he wasn't a real chef.
No, I mean those are the haters. Those are the people that watch the Food Network and hate. There's definitely
Oh
a culture of people out there who kind of look at the Food Network as kind of like a glamour show. They don't really take away the rudimentary aspects of actual culinary arts. Like I could see that. I could see these chefs creating things. Granted, it's on camera and it's edited. I mean, I see their
yeah,
passion, and I know, I can sense their motives are, to really showcase their talents. And
yeah, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
do they want them to show it all the way through? Because I mean, you would be there for hours. This would not. It would
exactly.
not
Like
be.
I have people come to the restaurant, like these magazines. They do like interviews with me and stuff, and they're like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
we want to come in and we want to get some footage of you preparing something." They're like, "What's your favorite thing to cook?" I'm like, "Oh, the smoked pan-seared apricot duck." They're like, "Wow, that's a long name, and we love it. We want to come in and videotape you preparing it." And then they realize it's like 2 hours. They're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, we gotta chop this up." I'm like, you asked me.
right.
um, but yeah, they have to trim things down. But the unfortunate thing is, when they start trimming things down, there's some key aspects in there that really make or break the dish that might get filtered out, which kind of
Yeah,
sucks. But It is what it is. I think Silk BB was asking about knives.
Let me see. Okay,
You don't
let's
have to go
see.
crazy with a knife set. You don't have to spend an egregious amount of money. You can just go to IKEA and find a moderately priced knife set, and I guess you could spend just as much money on a knife set as you do a sharpening stone. And then thanks to YouTube, you can watch an amazing video on learning how to properly sharpen a knife. I've used some of the worst knives to prepare some of the most beautiful meals, but it's all about just keeping it sharp. Forget the name brand, forget about the warranty, even though warranties on knives are good. That's what you're really paying for when you buy an expensive knife. But yeah, just get a nice set from IKEA or a Bed Bath and Beyond or something like that. But
Okay,
definitely get a really nice sharpening stone.
and she asked, "What is a culinary director?"
Culinary director. So I guess in the industry, you're going to have front of the house and back of the house. Front of the house being kind of the management that runs the floor and monitors the guest experience, as well as kind of the overall aesthetic of the dining experience. Then you have the back of the house where you have the executive chefs, head chefs, corporate chefs who manage um, demi chefs, chef de parties, pretty much line cooks and everybody below. A culinary director kind of stands right in the middle. They communicate between the front of the house senior management and the back of the house senior management on executing kind of day-to-day functions and a lot of long-term things as far as menu changes. And they conduct a lot of the tastings and give the feedback on kind of how they would perceive a guest experiencing their meal that they're about to eat at a certain establishment. So I best define a culinary director as somebody who's kind of stands right in the middle between the front of the house and the back of the house to really seal the deal on stellar service and presentation.
Okay, she got another question. Said, "What makes a real chef? Makes a real chef compared to a fake chef?" She might want to know the
Everybody's
difference.
a chef. If you're cooking and you're eating and you're gaining sustenance, congratulations, you're a chef. But I guess it comes down to consistency, like how often you're cooking. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess if you're doing it for money, I don't know. It's weird. It's like actually in my about section on my what is it on my YouTube channel, I use this Winston Churchill quote: "You make a living by what you get, but you make a life by what you give." And I implement that into kind of my passion and my career path. So I don't know if that defines the difference, but there's people that definitely seek to gain from being a chef. But I would say the real chefs are the ones that seek to give back more than they gain, if that makes any sense.
Okay, so I mean, like people, with that said, what are some misconceptions about like what a chef is?
That
I mean,
we're angry, that we don't spend enough time with our families, which in a lot of cases is true because of the hours that we work. Um, that we're very critical of other people's cooking when a lot of times that's not the case. If somebody else is cooking for us, guess what? We're super happy about it because that's an hour that we're not in the kitchen. Um, I don't know. I can't really think of too many misconceptions. Are there any statements made about chefs that you find particularly funny or odd that you haven't heard addressed?
I was just asking because, like, I'm sure that's probably that may be, some misconceptions that people might have on them, and I just wanted to get your perspective on it.
Yeah, I would say overall that that's a big one as far as chefs being short tempered and angry because we work in a very controlled environment. Like we plan our days to weed out all the negative variables in our day, and a lot of the planning starts at the beginning of the week, just to make sure by the end of the week everything is okay, that we have enough food to prepare, that we have the right chefs in the right place. So sometimes I think my wife can attest to this is that, like, when chefs come home, they kind of manage their lives the same way, where they're always trying to stay a step ahead and plan out every single detail. Like when we go on vacation, I'm the one that's really trying to pinpoint and map out where we're going to be at what time we got to be there. And she would say that's attributed to be me being a chef, or even us going to the grocery store. I'm looking at even like on a can of beans, I'm looking at like the weight versus the price per gram, things like that. Like you become really particular about kind of how you move throughout your day, and that's all because in the kitchen, that's all you're doing is you're planning everything out. So I guess you don't hear many chefs saying, YOLO, you only live once, because yeah, we don't like to wing anything inside the kitchen or outside the kitchen. So I think
Yeah.
that's a misconception that can ultimately be true. If people don't make a stereotype about chefs, then there's some truth in that.
Okay, I got another question from Silks. So, what's the difference between a chef and a cook?
A cook follows the recipe, and a chef creates the recipe.
Hmm.
A cook knows how, and the chef knows why. That's what one of my mentors told me. He's like, "You want to be a cook or you want to be a chef? A cook knows how, a chef knows why."
Okay, that was actually pretty deep, even though it was simple. Like,
It was simply put to me that way, and I remembered
yeah.
it to this day. And I heard that maybe 13 years ago.
But I mean, it's like kind of thinking about it, like, yeah, that that makes perfect sense, like you said. Like it's, of course, like the best explanations are often simple anyway. Can't explain something simply, then you can't really. I say you can't really explain.
Yeah, yeah. All the old school chefs, they'll tell you that that whole the KISS thing, the word KISS, the acronyms for keep it simple, stupid. Like that's what they
Yeah.
tell chefs. Uh,
There's somebody named Pillamon Game, and she was asking me, did I heard of Stephanie Zard? I haven't, but I don't know if Chef. I don't know if he has. Have you heard of her?
Stephanie Izard.
Yeah.
Hmm. She's probably Izard sounds familiar, like more like a Top Chef or something like that. It's a familiar last name.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess she was, but I most certainly would not have heard of her unless I heard one of the chefs mention her. But other than that, I probably, yeah, I haven't heard of her. But
Okay, Iron Chef.
oh, it's Iron Chef. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, did she win it or was she just on it? You must be over there googling right now.
Oh, you said you're Googling her?
No, that's what I say. So you must be googling.
Oh no, not me.
Oh,
I'm chilling. I'm in a
okay.
mode where I don't want to do any research. It's my day off, and this is one of the first days off where I'm thinking about anything culinary related.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Okay. She told me that she was one of three females in the world. And said she won.
That's what's up.
Okay. So I guess okay, so she did win. Okay. Okay. So was saying that that explains plating. Cooks don't plate. Guess like the explanation you gave probably explains it for on the difference between chefs and cooks.
Silks BB, have you ever heard of the term New York sous chef? It's uh, it's kind of making fun of sous chefs in New York City because the sous chefs in New York, they do a lot of the plating. Um, the joke is that they kind of stand in the pass and that's all they do, and they just plate food. But everybody has to plate food at some point because if you're working in a kitchen brigade, every section's solely responsible for what comes out of their section and how it's plated. So even if you hire somebody that same day for the salad section, you have one day to show them how to plate the salads. It could be their first job in a restaurant, but 100% they better learn how to plate that salad properly the way it was instructed to them because the rest of the kitchen, they're depending on them to get that dish out in a timely fashion and presented nicely.
Okay, I was last plating this, but I think I figured out what it is now.
But yeah, presentation goes a long way. I've seen some beautifully plated meals eating in different places around the world, and sometimes those flavors they just don't mesh.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say I have a very eclectic palate. I can taste something and I can kind of really push myself to understand where the chef was coming from when they created it. But sometimes some chefs they push the envelope and that envelope gets set in flames because it's just not clicking. It's not
Right.
working. But the only way to understand and learn that is, if people come in the restaurant, they order at one time, they come back and never order it again. You read that. Every chef's not perfect, and a real chef is always looking for that feedback to understand people and understand what people want to eat, and at the same time understand boundaries to push.
Yeah. 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 I mean, yeah. I've seen like chefs plate food, but I didn't know that's what it was called. But yeah, I've seen like one chef like had like a whole bunch of orders coming in at once, and he was just handling all like one of the chefs just handling like all the plating by himself. Like I think it was like had like a whole party, and he was just making like a steak, like steaks and fries for like everybody. But he was like setting up so many plates, like he was like ready to go. Like I
Yeah,
think it was I'm just knocking it out by himself. And,
yeah. People eat with their eyes. You know,
yeah,
the dish has to be appealing
yeah,
for
yeah,
people to commit to eating it. Also, the menu description goes a long way. The menu description has to be super concise. People dining out can be really impatient sometimes, so you want to convey the right information to intrigue them to take that leap and try that dish. Um, and then if there's a picture there as well, which you won't find too often in fine dining, if there's a picture there as well, you have to make sure that picture is phenomenal. But then that puts the pressure on the chefs to make sure that dish looks exactly like that photo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if your dish is featured in a magazine or a newspaper or on a television program,
Oh,
because
oh yeah.
that those media outlets, they help you in a lot of ways by bringing you that business. But
Yeah.
now it's a matter of delivering that consistency.
Yeah, yeah. You don't be accused of false advertisement.
Yeah, I never forget. I had everybody was going through this chicken sandwich craze and everything between Popeyes and what is it, Chick-fil-A and everything like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as a joke, not really as a joke, but just keeping that in mind, this is around the same time I introduced chicken sandwich to my menu out here. Um, there's not even a Chick-fil-A in Dubai, but people here, they still understand the social media rivalry of chicken sandwiches and stuff like that. So I made a chicken sandwich for my menu here, and it's really nice. Like, it's if there's such a thing as a gourmet chicken sandwich, then this would fall into that category. But I posted a picture on Instagram of when I first like made my first one, just like, my friends and I, chefs in the kitchen, we're just, playing around with the idea of it,
Yeah.
kind of brainstorming what we wanted in a fried chicken sandwich. And I took the picture and I posted it. And the picture I posted, it was two fried chicken thighs, um, in between this brioche with honey mustard and cilantro lime slaw, pickles, onions. That was the sandwich. But it was two thighs stacked on top of each other. This is before we even put it on the menu. So I guess this
Mm.
person followed me on Instagram, and my Instagram is linked to the restaurant. So they came in and they ordered the chicken sandwich, and the server told me, yeah, they were really excited about the sandwich. They've been waiting for a chicken sandwich in Dubai that's like, awesome. They're looking for the best chicken sandwich in Dubai or something. And the actual chicken sandwich on the menu is one thigh. So this guest, we served them the sandwich, and they were like, "Where's the other thigh?" I'm like, what are you talking about? This is the sandwich, and they would not let that go. And that was on my personal social media, and they wanted that extra thigh. So we gave in and we added an extra thigh. But that's just the story telling you that presentation is everything, and you know you can't disappoint people. You can't alter their perception from the initial thing they've envisioned or dreamed about having,
Right.
all because of a chicken thigh.
Yeah, yeah. They had to adjust it to give them that experience.
You live and learn.
Yeah.
Honesty is always the best policy, because even sometimes with prices, a lot of guests, they're leery of super cheap things, especially me. Um, if I see something that's really cheap on a menu, I'm always trying to figure out how did they make it that cheap. That's the first thing I'm thinking about. Yes, everybody wants to save money, but at the same time, you're like, what? How am I saving this much money? You ask yourself.
Right. All right. So I got a question from Silks. What if it's a good taste but don't look taste but I guess it's meant don't look tasty? How to get it? How do you get over that obstacle?
Well, luckily, we're in the year 2020, and you can read about almost every item on any menu in any restaurant before you even go to the restaurant. That's where the reviews come in. Some of them are harsher than others, but I guess in the commercial foodie scene, you're gonna come across a lot of things that look wacky. and you're just like, why would I eat this? But then you might, out of curiosity, go read a review, and they're like, although this dish does look wacky, it is one of the best tasting such and such in the region. And then you give it a try, and you're just like, wow,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
changes
I
your
mean,
whole perception of judging a book by its cover.
yeah. I mean, I know I definitely had that recently. It was like this buffalo collie that like that restaurant makes, I'm like, I'm not really a fan of spicy foods. So it's like I heard it was good, so I was like, guess I'll try it. And I guess like the buffalo collie had like cheese in it too. So I guess like when I ate it, it didn't really taste spicy, but it actually tastes I guess the buffalo sauce and the cheese and the cauliflower somehow made it taste really really good. I'm just like, man, this is great. And I was like, and I told the chef that made it, I was like, he said, I got 4 words for you. He said, what's that? Buffalo collie is life. Yeah, that's how good it was. I was like, wow, I would have, and I don't even like cauliflower, so that tells you a whole lot right there. It was like really good. It was presented really
Yes,
well,
you
and
see
yeah,
Sooks BB asking another question, and it kind of I
okay,
can it goes into cauliflower as well. You can do a lot of things
yeah,
with cauliflower for vegans and vegetarians.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
I remember I had a friend who made who actually, I mean, he actually made pastries from like made like raw pastries. I mean, he wasn't no pastry chef, nothing like that, but he was like a raw vegan. So I remember he made like a raw cheesecake and like raw like chocolate chip cookies. And they were just like delicious.
it's
He was.
definitely easier. It's definitely
Yeah,
easier to cater to vegetarians versus vegans. And as far as Sooks BB asking, why do chefs and restaurant owners neglect? Why do they neglect vegans and vegetarians? Um, I don't think they're neglected. I think people with special dietary needs, I think there's something out there for them anywhere
yeah,
they travel. It's just a matter of looking for it. I get a lot of vegans and vegetarians that come to my smokehouse, and to this day, I'm still a little confused because my menu thrives on celebrating the culture of smoked meats in America. Um, so, I mean, I can throw a number out there and say maybe here in Dubai, the vegan culture is growing. But at any rate, it's still maybe 1 in 100 people that visit the restaurant that are vegan. So it's a little hard to commit your food costs to something that you ultimately might not sell for a week. It's a little
mm,
tricky, and especially since something that's vegan based, um, oftentimes it's more perishable. So
yeah,
keep in mind you're
yeah,
keeping that in your fridge in hopes of selling it. So I mean they're not neglected. I have a friend who operates a vegan restaurant here, and vegans are more than happy to go to that restaurant and kind of really be in their element and experience, quality gourmet vegan cuisine without running the risk of being told that there's nothing on the menu for them.
yeah, yeah. I think like all the vegan restaurants I've been to, I don't think I've ever actually been to one that actually had like vegan food that I didn't like. Which I mean, I'm sure there might be some restaurants that might have some vegan food that might not like. I just haven't ran into them yet. But
I want to know why I can't get a steak at a vegan restaurant. That's I guess that's the flip side of
Yeah.
the argument.
Yeah, I guess you could ask that, but then it'd be like, there's plenty of other places that have steak. Yeah, but
But
yeah,
no, vegans are growing as a dietary choice, whether it's for medical issues or just for like I said, just the choice that people make. There's always something out there for them, and there's definitely a lot of restaurants that are going above and beyond to cater to their dietary needs. So yeah, you never know. I might end up becoming a vegan chef one day. Anything's possible.
yeah, yeah. I would never want to learn to make vegan pastries as well. Just like to, have, like to have like patience for people who may not be able to eat, certain stuff and other patients. I'm
Yeah,
like, okay,
eggs are messing people up more and more these
yeah,
days.
yeah, eggs or milk or grain, certain, wheat. So yeah, that,
But that's a whole different thing. When
yeah,
I meet somebody who is a vegan, but they also suffer from celiac disease, to where they can't
really,
eat gluten.
hmm. I've heard, people say they're allergic to gluten, but then it'd be like sometimes I'd be thinking like that can be kind of like made up, but I've never actually seen anybody, I never actually heard anybody actually have
Oh
like,
no, it's real. It's real and it's recognized in the health and safety standards of the hospitality industry. It's definitely
okay,
something you have to be keen on, kind of weeding out and preventing based on the person's dietary needs if they
I mean,
do suffer from celiac disease,
okay,
because
so
you don't want somebody to go into anaphylactic shock
oh, people actually
from
do that
eating
if they,
breadcrumbs.
oh wow.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that was what I was going to ask next. I was asking like, what be the symptoms? But yeah, you just told
Yeah, like I have a niece. She's coming to visit soon, and she has a plethora of food allergies. I'm not sure if some of them might have subsided with age, but I know when she visits my home, and especially when she visits the restaurant, I have to really figure out what she can and can't eat for the interest of her health.
me. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and like far as I know, I don't have no food allergies. I think the only allergies I really have is like pollen, and the only time that really affects me is during the spring. But then other time it doesn't bother me.
So you're Gucci now. You'll be all right.
Yeah, yeah. It's only like spring it starts to kind of bother me, but not as much as it used to. I don't know if I'm slowly building a resistance to it or not, but maybe.
Well, spring here, it starts getting a little crazy. The temperature starts shooting up here. Because right now, the main tourist season, I would say, spans from maybe November to March, because the temperatures are cooler. But once you start getting into the summer, when you check the temperature, at least in Fahrenheit, and you see it's 126, 130 degrees, you
Right. But yeah, I guess if nobody have any questions, I guess guess we talked enough. I mean, I guess I'll let you have, final words, and I guess if, you ever want to, revisit subject of cooking, we can come back to it. But
Yeah, no doubt.
all right, so if you got any last words, I'll give you the floor,
I
and then
hope I hope all four people that visited have a Gucci day. Those are my last
uh
words.
all right.
Because I know it's
Well,
late for a lot of people. I know it's late for you.
yeah, it's like 5 now, but it's all good. I mean, I guess as soon as I get through doing the stream, I can get some sleep.
Yes, and
So
enjoy. You said you're off tomorrow, or you're off today?
I'm off today, and then like Sunday I just work in the morning, then I'll be off in the evening. But yeah, usually Fridays and Saturdays I'm usually off.
Well, yes. Well, enjoy the rest of your off, and enjoy the rest of your journey in culinary
Mm.
arts.
Oh yeah, I most certainly will. Yeah, so I'm give shout outs, give crew reality, things coming through, Silks BB scratching, and was it DJ Music and I think it's Philly Mama Gaming. Appreciate all y'all for coming through. I mean, I'll keep this stream up, but I may make two streams breaking it down, so just if people don't want to watch the whole thing, they can catch both parts, catch parts of it, and and it'll be more digestible for them to listen to. Because
Yeah, getting people to
usually,
watch playback is strenuous.
yes, I usually keep it like 30 minutes to an hour, but I was like, yeah, it was such a good conversation. I was like, well, I can keep this up, but if people have a hard time, people can't listen to like to 2 hours. I'll break it down. Still leave this up, but I'll just break it down so it's easier to listen.
Yeah. Well, I'll hop on any panel in the future, any subject. Um,
Okay, well, I mean,
I
yeah, you're
think
always
I think
welcome.
I would hope that you believe I am who I say I am. So there's definitely somewhat of a natural filter that I have on myself,
Yeah.
um, as far as topics I'll speak on. But yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about the world and how it ticks and how it moves and how people get on. You know, so invite me to any panel, any subject, and
All right.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, I mean, it might be, I guess it might be if I do it, I guess it might be maybe late night
No,
for
but
you.
I can make it work. I'm off on Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I can always take a nap and prepare myself.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
All right.
definitely give you a heads up, and next time I, do a panel, which I'm gonna try to do more on the weekends. So yeah,
All
I'll
right.
definitely
Well,
hit you up and let you know.
yeah. Thank you so much
Uh,
for reaching out to me and having me on board.
yeah, man, I appreciate you for getting back to me and responding and and wanting to come up here.
No doubt.
All right. Well, thank y'all
All right.
for coming through, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Hope y'all have a great day today.
Peace.
See you later.